Emerging from the noise, Soup Media Network.
The story began in an area known as El Mesquita, a very isolated training area. In the center of the area was Monkey Valley, inhabited by hollow monkeys who were very territorial and known to defend their territory. They were also curious and attracted to bright objects. I commanded 3rd Platoon. At the other end of the valley was 2nd Platoon, commanded by Haywood Mills, just out of West Point. He was also a congressman's son. We're supposed to be aggressing against elements of the 82nd Airborne. Lieutenant Mills was rather gung-ho and ran his troops through a series of training exercises, including a night ambush. Only that ambush didn't turn out quite as he planned. About halfway down the valley, there was a large stream that crossed the training area. The only way to cross safely was via a somewhat narrow bridge. Thinking I'd be in that vicinity, Mills set up an ambush and waited for me to walk into the trap. However, I'd set up camp just before dark. Neither of us knew that villagers had moved into the area and set up farms. At dusk, an old farmer was leading his cow along the jungle trail toward the stream. Mills and his merry band of men heard what sounded like a squad walking along the trail and sprang their ambush. We were all using blanks, of course, which sounded like the real thing. So both the old man and the old cow did what anyone would do in that situation. They both had heart attacks and collapsed. I heard the shooting and was puzzled about who might be shooting at whom, but wasn't moved to go find out. Then I heard a call on the battalion BattleNet.
Bravo 22, this is Bravo 25.
Bravo 25, this is Bravo 22. Go ahead.
Bravo 22, we have a bit of a problem.
What is your problem, Bravo 25?
Well, it would appear that I haven't cured some casualties.
You what?
Well, it was their own fault. Someone wandered into the area, and, we ambushed them, and they died.
This is Lieutenant Colonel White. You what?
An old farmer got in the way of an ambush, and, both he and his cow died.
Where's Sergeant Harris?
Sir, it's like this, you see. It would appear that he was giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to the cow.
Mouth-to-mouth to a cow? Lieutenant, go sit down and do nothing until I call you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Charlie 25, this is Bravo 22.
Bravo 22, this is Charlie 25.
Listen, Bravo 25 has had some sort of problem. I want you to go to his position, figure out what happened, and handle it.
Yes, sir. At the bridge, we found the lieutenant almost in tears. The farmer laid out on the bridge, covered with a blanket, and the cow with all 4 feet in the air. I walked up to Sergeant Harris and slapped him on the back. "How have you been kissing the cow?" I said with a very serious look on my face.
"Damn it, sir, this is serious. The farmer had a heart attack, and so did the cow. We administered first aid to the farmer, but I'm not sure how to administer first aid to a cow."
Well, we called in a medevac chopper for the farmer and rigged a carry sling beneath the helicopter to carry the cow. I turned back to Harris. "Look, it's been a long day. Why don't you take your platoon to that ridge about a mile that way and settle in? I'll check in on the farmer tomorrow and let you know." Well, we went back to our base camp, but the night wasn't over. About 2 a.m., I heard a war break out down the valley. Bravo 25, this is Charlie 25. There was no response, just more sounds of a battle raging in the distance. Bravo 25, this is Charlie 25. Come in. Finally, Harris answered my insistent radio calls.
Charlie 25, this is Bravo 25.
Bravo 25, what's going on? Who are you all shooting at?
Well, sir, it was a false alarm. Don't worry about it.
That was a lot of ordnance for a false alarm. Where's Mills?
Well, he's a little engaged at the moment.
Finally dawned on me that Harris wasn't going to let me speak to Mills. Well, fine, try to keep it down. Some of us are trying to sleep. It was quiet for about an hour when, once again, I could hear gunfire. Something was up, but I decided it was none of my business. Dawn, I received a call from the colonel himself.
Charlie 25, this is Bravo 22.
I knew I couldn't pretend I didn't hear him, so I answered. This is Charlie 25.
Charlie 25, I need you to link up with Bravo 25 and help them find Bravo 25.
Say again?
Mills has disappeared. I need you to link up with Bravo 25 and oversee the search for the nitwit.
Breaking camp, I led my platoon to the camp's second platoon, which was a shambles. The first thing I saw over in the edge of camp was what looked like a corpse. Sitting on a fallen tree was a disheveled Harris. I went over to sit beside Harris on the downed tree. Harris looked at me and just shook his head.
This has been the most bizarre mission that I've ever been on in my 17 years in the Army.
So what happened to Mills? And is that a body over there?
Well, sir, you know how superstitious these locals are. One of them was on guard. He was on duty carrying an M60 machine gun. He walked under a tree with a low-hanging branch, and a big hairy hand reaches down and grabs the end of the barrel. Well, the soldier was so scared he let go of the weapon and took off running, screaming at the top of his lungs. In the meantime, Mills was sleeping peacefully by the fire in one of those fancy air mattress mosquito net rigs. When the screaming started, he grabbed his M16 and he jumped to his feet, forgetting that he was under a mosquito net. He started to fight and he pulled the trigger of his M16, and the other men jumped up and started firing and throwing ordnance and shooting parachute flares. The monkey, who was now carrying the machine gun, got scared and he accidentally fired the weapon, which had a 200-round belt attached. Since the monkey didn't know to let go of the trigger, he fired all 200 rounds, and the troops thought they were being attacked and they fought back. Finally, the monkey keels over, and when I checked the body, he was dead. Mills was so scared that he had an accident and he soiled his pants. In fact, he stunk to high heaven, and to the point that I forced him to strip down and bury his uniform.
It was all I could do not to laugh at the mental picture of the monkey with the machine gun and tall, skinny Mills stark naked in the middle of the jungle.
Sir, that's not funny. In fact, that wasn't the worst of it. Well, I restored order and I got everyone back to bed. The lieutenant's mosquito net covering was ruined, and it was chilly, so he pulled his air mattress over closer to the fire and he laid back down. Things calmed down and we all dropped off. Well, sir, you know how cold it can get out in the jungle at night. So a snake, in fact, it's the biggest snake I've ever seen. It crawled into camp and it came up to the fire. It put its head on the lieutenant's chest, and it was just laying there watching the fire. Something woke me up and I glanced over to see what looked like Lieutenant Mills pregnant with this big lump on his lower chest. Then I realized it was a snake's head. Well, about that same time, Mills woke up and he glances down and he sees the snake, and he literally levitates right off that mattress, takes off running naked as a jaybird into the jungle. The movement of Mills and the snake trying to get away got the mattress too close to the fire, and it burst and it took off flying across the camp. The guards saw it and started shooting at it, and then the rest of the soldiers started screaming about haunts, and all hell broke loose again. I like to never got order restored, and we still can't find the lieutenant. I've had everybody looking since shortly after it happened, but we still can't find him.
I set my unit to searching for the lieutenant as well, and by noon we had swept that entire valley, but no naked lieutenant. Finally, we found him sitting on a sandbar about a mile offshore, too scared to rejoin his unit. I had to have two of my biggest soldiers go bring him back. So ended the story of the monkey with the machine gun.